So what we're dealing with Elon Musk in this Twitter situation is the idol worship taken to the next level. Idol worship has been used to control the masses for eons, and that idol worship is based upon the consciousness of the masses. And the consciousness of the masses is being manipulated by the technology that the masses are conditioned to follow. So if the system can utilize a newspaper to control the masses, they will only use that technology of the newspaper because that's all the energy that they need to use to get what they need. Why would they expend more energy, more resources, if they can get what they need from spending pocket change as opposed to an entire bank account? So back in the day, the pocket change that was used was actual idols, these idols that are spoken of in the Bible, the storylines, the Bible itself, religion itself. This is all pocket change. But as the consciousness grew, as people become more aware of those systems, those idols, the idols need to become more complex. Just like moving from a newspaper to the radio, to the television, to the computer, to the internet, as instruments, idolistic instruments that have been used to control the masses, the instruments need to continue to evolve to match the conscious instrument that's existing inside the people. So we'll no longer fall for the pocket change, idols, tricks, conditioning programs, fear program, fear in general. This is why the idea of progression, science, evolution, the future is being used and sold to the masses more than the fear of God, the fear of monsters, the fear of the devil. Back in the day, this was all that was needed to maintain control over the masses. And then they could just say, oh, well, I have achieved these riches, this power over you because of my relationship, my connection to God, to whatever it is, these aliens, whatever perspective you want to come from. And the name of the game is to keep the masses of people at the lowest state of consciousness as possible, so you can use as little amount of energy as possible to control the masses. And the system can last even longer because the accountability of that system will take that much longer when the consciousness of the masses is so little, is so lost. So you have people who are out there to maintain that level of consciousness, and you get them put on a pedestal. Your athletes, your musicians, these people get held to a high esteem in order to be what the masses of people are reaching for. The children, the young adults, what they want to be like. They want to be like Megan the Stallion because she just got the key to the city. They want to be like Beyonce because of the way she's worshipped. But the content of these people's character is never revealed. You will never have in-depth expressions of who these people are, what they represent. Because in that space, they will be exposed. So their power exists, the power over the masses that the people give them exists in not only hiding the character, the depths of who these people are, but in the amplification, the artificial amplification, the superficial amplification of who these people are and what they represent, that is decided by the system, which gives them that credibility. There's various layers of systems that are out there that give the masses these layers of credibility. And Elon Musk is a heavy duty, if not the heaviest one out there, because he represents 3 of the heaviest layers of influence within that system. He is a celebrity, he is a science propaganda pusher, and he's rich. He's got the money, he's got the fame, and he has what the system needs to push the system forward. He's basically this generation's Carl Sagan, even beyond that, multiplied times 1,000, because Carl Sagan was basically only just slightly within the celebrity phase, not really in the rich and I'm powerful and I can do anything. but he was the heavy duty science pusher. He set the foundation for Elon Musk to project himself onto that stage. Back then, Carl Sagan was speaking to the demographic of people who had the most influence on society. He was speaking to the professors. He was speaking to the teachers. He was speaking to that lower, middle-aged demographic. Whereas now, the influencers of society, which make things move, are at a younger age because things are moving so much faster. It's the younger generation of people who are actually in charge, ahead of the game of pushing agendas, pushing what this system needs to move forward. This is why Hollywood movies, which speak to that mass of people, social media influencers, which speak to that demographic of people, this is why those systems are pushed so hard and why conditioning programs are inserted into these movies so hard. I just watched the new Spider-Man movie last night, and this can be said for the majority of the box office hit movies that are out there, but these movies are based, especially Marvel movies, which is owned by Disney. Disney owned by the government, and the government needing the science and the university institutions to push their systems and have the people believe in their systems. The Hollywood industry, the entertainment industry, is basically just a science propaganda machine. And the use of that propaganda is to install the belief systems within the masses of people, specifically the future generations of people. So like the teenagers right now, the younger generations who are soaking up, becoming who they are going to be for the rest of their lives. They're trying to figure out what it means to be an adult. They're trying to figure out what they're going to anchor themselves within as a person, how they're going to hold their ground when they interact within society. What makes these people who they are? What makes these young adults who they are? They want to be seen as smart. They want to be seen as beautiful. Obviously, all those are natural, but one of the main things is they want to be seen as smart. And what does that mean? What is smart? They get these character traits of smartness from their movies. The gap between parent and children is so huge nowadays because things are moving so much faster. They're not going to get their character traits for the most part unless they have a close relationship, but they're not going to get their character traits of who they are to become from their parents. They're going to get it from who and what they spend more time with. And nowadays, social media is what these kids are spending more time with. So they're going to become who they are from the influencers within social media, within the Hollywood scene, within movies. This is what streaming does. It amplifies. Look at what you had to do to go see a movie back in the day. You had to go to the movie theater. You had to wait for it to drop. Look at how long it took from the movie theater to VHS. And then it got faster when it went from the movie theater to DVDs and then the movie theater to Blu-ray. Why did they amplify that? Is it just for money? No. It's for influence. It's because they know when they get those programs installed into the masses of people as quickly as possible, that gives them the opportunity to install the next system. So nowadays you have streaming services who are just putting out content immediately. It goes straight from the production studio, straight into these minds, and then they're on to the next mind control program. And within these systems, they're not only teaching your children and you how to become who and what you want to be, they're training your children how to interact with other people. Specifically, a good example in this movie, this new Spider-Man movie, they have a character in there. I think it was Hannibal Buress who was the character. He was like the janitor in the high school that Spider-Man went to. He's the conspiracy theorist, and you can see their relationship with him, how they just push him to the side, and they literally call him, oh, he's a conspiracy theorist. They're just not listening to him. They let him talk on and on and on about his conspiracy theories and make him look crazy, make him look like this irrational person who is not even worth entertaining, not even worth listening to. He's seen as an outsider. They do this again with their characters. They have a character in there who is loosely portrayed as an Alex Jones character. So they put these characters out there just as much as they want you to act like a character. One of these characters, they want you to be like Zendaya. They want you to be like Spider-Man. They want you to be like whoever it is that you relate to. But they also do this to make characters that they don't want you to relate to. If they make the conspiracy theorists look dumb in the Spider-Man movie, then they make the information that all conspiracy theorists are connected to irrational, dumb, not worth looking into, an outsider. And once again, this goes into the idol worship. If there is an idol out there to be, then there's also an example of what not to be. And just like the Hollywood industry, this exists in other industries, your professional athletes, your music industry. These industries are focused more on the entertainment at the expense of intelligent content. And this is why entertainers are put on a pedestal. Entertainers are amplified. They're the ones who are on your trending pages. They're the ones who are getting paid millions of dollars. Your athletes, your movie stars, your musicians, they're getting paid millions and millions of dollars. The most ratchet ass shit that they put out there, the higher the money they get, the more esteemed in society they are. Idiots. And the more they keep quiet and go along with the programs, the more they'll be amplified in your world. It's the superficiality that sets the undertone, sets the infrastructure for these mind control programs, for these conditioning systems. Even in your truther communities, your so-called woke and conscious communities, the same thing happens. The ones who talk more and more and more about just talking, stuff that feels good, are held to a high esteem. The ones who are talking about action are either cast to the side, censored, or in extreme cases, assassinated. Malcolm X was talking about action. Towards the end of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s expression of what he was talking about action. He was moving more towards action, less about just internally motivating people to think a different way and more towards taking action. Dr. Khalid Muhammad, action. Anybody dealing with action is a threat. Anybody dealing with entertainment, merely talking, is not a threat and is in many cases a benefit to that system. This is why your Russell Brands are hooked up with your Joe Rogans, your Oprahs, your Eckhart Tolles, your Deepak Chopras, your new age people, your channelers in that space. They're all about talking. They're not about internal power. This talking space over the action is very similar to the theories over your observable reality. For people who are looking into the non-heliocentric universe, you can see how people will defend tooth and nail. They'll just talk incessantly about how they believe the heliocentric model, mostly knowing that it's based on theories. They've never seen anything. They can't really understand where this stuff is coming from firsthand. But since the beliefs in those theories are so thick, they don't even look into the idea of an observable reality. So keeping the masses shallow is keeping them weak. And as long as you keep them weak, you can control them. This is why relationships are so weak. This is why they push the LGBTQ community out there, because it creates, very generally, overall, it creates inconsistencies. It creates questioning. It creates a sort of buffering of that relationship that one has with not only other people, but with themselves. It creates an insecurity. And the system knows that separating the man from the woman is a very big benefit, because it's not about the equality. This is why they keep the conversation based upon equality between a man and a woman. That is not a universal thing. We don't see our women and have never seen our women as unequal. It's stupid to even think like that. But there is a demographic of people who have, and that's on purpose in many different ways. Because when you have that relationship with the man and the woman, you can dumb down the masses of people through separation, very slickly under the guise of unity. Talking about equality is not a unifying factor. Talking about equality amplifies division. We're equal because you're over here doing that thing and we're over here doing this thing. But we're equal in the things that we do. That's not our relationship. Our relationship is based upon compatibility. We are compatible with each other. And when the conversation starts there, you're starting from a place of power. If you start the conversation from separation through them over there and us over here, you're starting it from a powerless perspective, under the guise of unity, bringing together, becoming better. No. So that's where these personal relationships are starting. People are starting on that broken foundation and then working through their personal relationships with that broken foundation, putting band-aids on themselves and their relationship, patching things up, gluing things, taping things together, and saying this is what true love is. This is what a healthy relationship is. This is what healthy parenting is. This is what a healthy child looks like. Look how progressive I am. And when you connect technology, or what the institution is using to control the masses, when you connect that technology to relationships, it's another form of dumbing down. They sell it to you as, we're creating an outlet for people to connect and become closer with their family on social media. We're providing an outlet for these people to find their soulmate through these dating apps. But what is it really doing to the masses of people? What is it really doing to the consciousness? What happens when people are locked into that superficial reality, swiping through various people on and on and on, looking for their soulmate based upon what? Physical traits? What does that do to the chemistry of the mind? What does that do to the psychology of the masses? But it's accepted as normal. Is that empowering the masses of people? Is that empowering the individual? No. It's sold to you like that, though. Amplifying, pushing these relationships to connect quicker. Broken people getting into relationships with other broken people faster than ever before. Is that making us stronger? Absolutely not. And then what happens when they get into those relationships? Reproducing, creating broken children at a rapid rate. What's that doing to the consciousness of the masses? What's that doing to the consciousness of the individual? Is that a benefit to the people or the system? Broken people producing broken children at a more rapid rate. No, it creates this codependency. It creates these broken people who need fillers. They need something to lean on. The system is there. It provides you your pharmaceuticals, getting kids at a very early age addicted to these drugs because they're pushed into this reality from a broken foundation. Create more codependency, create weaker people, create a stronger government. This is what your technology, this is what your dating apps, your social media, all of this is connected around. And this is why specifically Elon Musk is getting into this world of politics in so many different ways. Because like I said before, he is rich. People follow the rich. He's heavy duty in science and technology. And he's a celebrity. And when you lock those three things together with this idea of free speech, now you have a super politician. You have a super celebrity. And since you know what the system is about, when they talk about stuff like free speech, freedom, all the reasons they go to war, you know it's never for your benefit. You know there's something behind that. Elon Musk talking about giving a shit about free speech is like George Bush talking about giving a shit about freedom in Iran and Iraq and Libya and Syria and all that other shit that went down. They sell it to you like that. Oh, free this, free that, like smart this, smart that. But what's going to happen in the long run? Nothing for the benefit of you. So like I said before, since the consciousness of the masses is moving so quickly, That's not to say it's more efficient. It's just to say that the potential to be more efficient, the potential is there. People are going further than they ever have been if they utilize these tools the right way. But you have to be in line to be able to use these tools. You have to know what to do. You have to be in a space to use these tools the right way, which is hard enough to do. And that's an internal thing. And since these tools are so externally based, the majority of people are not even getting into internally preparing themselves to utilize these tools to the best of their abilities. So what ends up happening in that space, because they don't have those internal functions, is that the internal reality becomes who and what they are. And then they become subjects to the external, become dependent on the external, and start to build up this artificial internal space based upon their external ideas of who and what they should be. This is why movies are such a big deal. TV shows are such a big deal. Social media is such a big deal. It's a constant bombardment of the external, of the superficial external, being sold to the masses of people as an internal reality. So in closing, why is Elon Musk connected to Twitter and pushing this idea of free speech? Like I said, first of all, he is one of the heaviest influencers of the biggest agendas that the system needs to push the masses of people in a particular direction. Money, celebrity, science. People will follow anybody like that blindly. He's got all three. You only need one. You either have to have money, you have to be a celebrity, or you can just be a super science head. People will follow you just because they want to emulate you, just because they want to be connected to you in some kind of way. And the main things to look at when you're looking at Elon Musk and his relationship to the future and what's going on, you already know he's connected to the heliocentric mind control program. Not only connected, but a heavy pusher, as heavy as NASA. He is teamed up with NASA. So he's in that world. He's the main talking head of that world. But what else is he connected to? The future of artificial intelligence, the future of transhumanism, connecting biology to technology, that brain mesh technology that he's trying to get, even the idea of putting technology in your brain. He's at the forefront of that transhumanism agenda. What else is he pushing? What has he said about vaccines? He's all about the whole vaccine storyline that this system pushes. He's tweeted about it. So he's in cahoots with the university institution. He's in cahoots with big pharma, big science, big government. He's that man. So you got science, technology, heliocentrism, this space, big pharma. Now he's got his hands in the idea of free speech, freedoms. This is another one that people follow heavy. And what's he going to do with that? If you know he's connected to the big government agencies, what's he going to do with Twitter, social media? Now he's got his tentacles in social media. He is the social media CEO. So what is the government, Elon Musk, who gets paid by the government to do these things that he's doing? What is he going to do with the biggest newspaper, the biggest technological newspaper of the world? Knowing that there's a power connected into buying up something like that people are heavily dependent on. Their livelihood. How many people's livelihood is connected or dependent on social media? Their relationship, their communication through social media. How many people are going to have to follow whatever agenda he's pushing just to maintain their following on these social media platforms? He basically bought up battalions of influencers by purchasing Twitter. And one of the main things that he's already talking about doing is this blue checkmark shit, which is the government validation of who you are. People believe who you are once you get that blue checkmark. And that blue checkmark is the hook that gets you into this social credit system. More control. And people are going to follow it. Why? Because he's a good guy. Like I said, he's the Carl Sagan of today's generation, multiplied times 1,000. So the main reason why Elon Musk is in so many of these conversations and is being used in the social media, technology, science world, government world, is because they're pushing this next agenda of control. Stepping into worldwide control, this new world order, requires a worldwide mindset. Twitter is a worldwide network. Him getting in and cleaning up, that's just like free speech. He's going to clean it up. He's going to put more free speech, going to get more people becoming more free. It's to sell you more control. What's Elon Musk's Patriot Act? If he's selling freedom, what's his Patriot Act? It's coming soon. And it's going to involve this blue check mark social credit system shit. And once he's in there doing whatever he's doing to get the masses of people to get on his back, because if people start following him and he's in buddy-buddy relationship with the government, that's just another way for people to get in a buddy-buddy relationship and to trust the system overall. They need representatives like Elon Musk. This is why they hold on to Elon Musk so hard and push him so hard. They give him all those government subsidies to do what he's doing. Same reason why they push people like Joe Rogan. So if you're looking into this information, if you're trying to figure out what's going on with Elon Musk, start with this social credit system nonsense that they're pushing. See where that's going. And then, like I said, that's the end. That freedom shit, that's the end. Once he's in there, he can do whatever he wants. Because he's got that belief. He's got that trust. Now that he's in, what else can he do? You trust him with your social media. Now you're going to trust him with putting technology in your body. He can't put Twitter, he can't put social media in your brain if he doesn't own social media first. Now that he owns social media, the next step is to evolve it. Who's to say he's not the next Apple phone creator and starts pushing that technology? But on your body, in your body. Look at phones in general. Cell phones in general are being phased out. It's just a matter of time. Look at what they're doing already. Putting everything into your phone, making you dependent on the phone. But the phone is still a thing. It's something outside of you that you could lose. The bridge between that phone and the future is what? People wearing these watches now. Apple Watch. Putting it in your glasses. But it's still a thing. It's still a physical thing. And if they can force you to get that blue check mark in the social media world, the next step is to force you to get that blue check mark in the real world. And as long as they got somebody like Elon Musk that's pushing that agenda, millions of people are going to follow that system and walk themselves right into the next control program.